Vrindavan, and there he got introduced to Krishna consciousness. Eventually in Delhi, he came to know about the temple, the East of Kailash temple, the main Radha Padsati temple. So there Prabhuji started regularly practicing, and in 2001 he got initiated by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. In 2004 he got the second initiation, and ever since he got into the East of Kailash program, he was into the youth preaching. And then Maharaj also instructed him to parallelly do youth preaching near where he was staying. It was Punjabi Bagh. Punjabi Bagh, there was a temple which is now a big temple, actually, Shri Radha Radhika Raman temple, very beautiful deities. So there Prabhuji was doing youth preaching along with East of Kailash youth preaching. And in 2005, Prabhuji joined full time. And then he has been then posted as a co-president for the Punjabi Bagh temple. And under his great leadership, Prabhuji has been taking care of youth preaching, brahmachari care and training and keeping them inspired, congregation preaching, all temple management. And very wonderfully, they expanded the whole program. So much so that actually many other temples like Bahadurgarh, Rohini temple, Chandigarh was not mentioned, but Chandigarh also. Yeah, Chandigarh also, and many wonderful devotees, very solid leaders for the movement have come from Punjabi Bagh temple. And Kurukshetra also. So Prabhuji has been humble in his expression in the introduction, but actually many temples are, Punjabi Bagh temple, the area size is small, but the devotee community is very big. Every day the Mangal Arati is flooded with, all congregation also, brahmachari is always fully resplendent with vibrations. And so from there, these wonderful temples also came. Plus every year, they would do 2.5 lakh Mahabig books every marathon, very powerfully. There is one Karuna Chandrabu who does a very powerful Bhagavad Gita contest in a very much bigger way than what we do here. They do a very grand scale with UN, United Nations. So all these things have been happening under the guidance of His Grace Rukmini Krishna Prabhu. And not only that, he would also give Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav courses. Prabhuji is a very first-class practitioner. When Radhashampur came to, when he received the mail from Prabhuji, so he said, "It is my dream come true. I was looking for this great soul. When will he arrive at Pune temple?" So Prabhuji was so happy, and he said all the brahmacharis should personally also take his association and as many classes as Prabhuji can offer. So we want his association. Prabhuji was mentioning that he's a faithful chanter of the holy name in front of Tulsi Maharani, like Mohan Rup Prabhu. If you all know, Mohan Rup is also very powerful personality in our movement. So Prabhuji is like a very staunch practitioner, and by his practice, his such realizations, especially as all of us are trying to be brahmacharis, so Prabhuji's practice and example is actually of great help to all of us. His realizations will flood us with genuine Vaishnava qualities and also practice for brahmachari life. So I personally also very blessed that I sometimes, when I visit Delhi, I go to Punjabi Bagh temple, and every time it's a very, very great humbling and learning experience, because all the devotees there are filled with genuine Vaishnava qualities, so much devotee care, and just and Radha Radhika Raman, my God, anyone who sees them, many of our devotees keep one photo of Radha Radhika Raman, because they are very special deities, and devotees are also very special, and all are getting guided by His Grace Rukmini Krishna Prabhu. Prabhuji also has taken up RSA and zonal supervisor roles in Punjab, Haryana, so Prabhuji travels to different parts of the North India. And Prabhuji is also the sannyas candidate. So I was calling him Maharaj. So I was feeling that actually I already see Prabhuji as Maharaj, but so Prabhuji is actually a very great example for all of us. We are very blessed that he has come to Pune for 3 days. He had come for a congregation yatra to Pandharpur, and he has kindly come here for 3 days. So we welcome him and also warmly welcome him here to our brahmachari classes by loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much, Antadev Prabhu. I'm very much humbled by your introduction. And may your words become true. Thank you so much. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, Antadev Prabhu. I'm very happy to be here amongst all of you. It was also my dream to come here and to associate with all of you. Pune, Pune with Radhesham Prabhu's mercy and his wonderful efforts, dedicated, sincere efforts. Pune is like an icon in ISKCON, So Pune preaching, Radhesham Prabhu, you can easily call him father of youth preaching, in ISKCON. So I learned a lot from him and all the devotees. So I was always looking forward to come over here and take association of all of you. So that today the topic given is importance of speaking, especially for a brahmachari, right? So we all are in this brahmachari ashram, and we have taken this wonderful, very noble decision to dedicate our life in the mission of Srila Prabhupada, and we should all consider ourselves extremely fortunate, because as such human form of life is very rare. And in this rare human form of life, if we get the shelter of devotees like saints like Srila Prabhupada, Brahman Brahmite Kono Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Pasade Paye, Bhakti Lata Bij. It is said how rare it is to get an association of exalted devotees like Srila Prabhupada. It is said, like if you imagine a straw in the middle of an ocean, so what is the probability that that straw will come to the shore? Any PhD in mathematics? Which probability model will apply? What is the probability? Very remote. Similarly, for an eternally conditioned soul, Nityabad Jeev, it is very rare, extremely rare to get liberated. And that will happen only by getting the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Now, after coming to the shelter of Srila Prabhupada and after taking this decision of dedicating my life full time, becoming a brahmachari, now the real life starts. Srila Jiva Goswami says, after taking initiation from a bona fide spiritual master, any of you, I think some of you must have got initiated recently also here in this group. Okay, very good. So, Srila Jiva Goswami says, our real life starts after initiation. Okay, so we got initiated, we joined Brahmachari Ashram. So we are in a very secure place, very secure place. I mean, I think in the entire creation, the most wonderful place, the most secure place for any living entity is the Brahmachari Ashram of ISKCON. We got so many facilities, full-time facilities. We have no other, service, no other job, just to perfect our life and help others in perfecting their lives. Okay. So in that way, our mission in life is to become perfect sadhu. a perfect disciple. Right? So for that, we have to utilize our mind, body, and all the senses in a very, very judicious manner, isn't it? So, mansa, kalpa, or kaya and vacha. So, urge to speak. In the first verse in Updeshamrit, vacho vegam, mansa vegam, jiva krodh vegam, udar upastha vegam. So, etan vegan pashyet dhira sarvanavin prithvim sa shishyat. Only that person who can control the urges of the six urges is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Or in a way, even if we want to become a perfect disciple, we should develop this capacity to tolerate these six urges. And the first urge is vacho vegam, the urge to speak. The urge to speak is very, very strong. Very, very strong. We need food to eat. Without eating food, we cannot survive, we cannot live. But without speaking, we cannot live at all. We'll keep Nijala Ekashi. It's coming on, I think, 7th of June. Okay, on the Nijala Ekashi, one day is Nijala Ekashi, one day, okay, we'll complete silence. Can we imagine that we are maintaining a vow of complete silence for one full day? Very, very difficult. Even for 2 hours, 3 hours, it's extremely difficult. Sometimes if you go to Kumbh Mela, they are very yogis. They are maintaining Mohan Vrat for 12 years, 13 years. It's a big achievement. So controlling our urge to speak is not so easy. We all have this experience. And by nature, Krishna has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. What does it indicate? Suno jada, bolo kam. And the ears are in open condition and the mouth is normally in shut condition. That is, whenever it is required, you should open your mouth. Otherwise, keep it shut. And ear should always be open. Always be alert to hear. But mouth keep shut. Whenever it is required, only then you speak. But normally, we want to speak more and hear less. Even if there is some conversation is going on, we stop hearing. Just meditating, what I'll speak, what I'll speak, what I'll speak. So, to be a good listener is also a big austerity. Okay. So, vacho vegam, it's very, very essential. And we all call sadhus, yatis, So, one person came to me from our congregation. He enrolled, he was a new member. So he was just discussing with me. And he was appreciating all the devotees of ISKCON. And he just said, in a very matter-of-fact manner, he says, Prabhuji, you people are sadhus, So you people have a lot of control over your senses. You are Sanyam. Aapka bahut acha Sanyam hai. मैंने कहा प्रभु ठीक है, okay. You don't know us in reality. But he was expecting brahmachari means Sanyam. Sanyam over eating, Sanyam over speaking, Sanyam control over everything. So it is expected from us. We are wearing this, especially we are wearing this saffron cloth. So they expect these people are very well controlled, well mannered, very nicely. Okay. So Prabhupada also says, how can we judge a person when he opens his mouth? And Arjuna also asked in Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter, Sthit Pragasya ka bhasha. What language he speaks? What is this verse? 256, I think. 55. Sthit Pragasya ka bhasha, Samadhi sasya keshava. Sthitadhi kim prabhashyeta, kim asitra vajeta kim. What language he speaks, how he sits, how he walks. So what language he speaks, how he sits, kim asit means how he restrains his senses. Kim rajet, how he walks, how he utilizes his senses. And in the purport, can you show the purport, 254? So, in the purport, Prabhupada is writing, right. Come to the purport, in the center of the purport. Yes, the most important, he says. Can you read? Someone can read from this?
Most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. For speech is the most important quality of any man.
Yes, very important line. You know, most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. For speech is the most important quality of any man. Okay? And it is said a fool is understood as long as he does not speak. And certainly a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. But as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. Okay? So, the most important quality of any man is speech. Speech is the most important quality. So, we have to work upon this. Okay? And we all know how we begin our Krishna consciousness. What is the most important organ? Tongue. And tongue has two functions, to eat and to speak. Okay? We have to speak Hare Krishna. We are told that we speak Krishna Katha and eat only Krishna Prasada. So that's how the tongue should be used. It is also said in the 11th canto, the tongue is compared to the rudder of a big ship. Okay? What is the function of the rudder? Direction. The small part of the ship gives direction to the big ship, you know. So this is how we use our tongue can give direction to our life. Okay? So how we speak can give direction to our life. It's very, very important. And the tongue is tongue is like a knowledge acquiring sense as well as action sense. Okay? So when we speak, we perform karma. Okay? When I'm speaking, I'm doing karma by Vani. It has reactions. Okay? So how I use my tongue, how I use my speech can give direction to my life. Can make my future or break my future. Okay? And especially after coming to Brahmachari Ashram, after taking this decision of dedicating my life in this mission, we have to be very, very careful how I use my speech. Okay? It's very, very important. Normally, our Krishna consciousness starts with tongue, and we can spoil also our Krishna consciousness by not using our tongue properly. Okay? If you're not very careful, what kind of talk I'm engaging in, what kind of talks I'm doing with my other devotees, with other non-devotees, it can create great harm to my spiritual life. Right? So we have to be very, very careful. That's why in the 17th chapter, Krishna describes the three levels of austerities. Austerities of body, austerities of mind, and austerities of speech. Body, speech, and mind. And you know, progressively it is difficult. Austerity of body, more difficult is austerity of speech, and even more difficult is austerity of mind. So in the 17th chapter, 17-15, can you show, Prabhu? You can recite this verse. Anudvegam karam vakyam satyam priyam cha hitam chayat swadhyaya bhasanam chaiva vadmayam tapo uchyate. Yeah. Anudveg karam, not agitating. Vakyam, words. Satyam, truthful. Priya, dear. Hitam, beneficial. Cha, also. Yat, which. Swadhyaya, of Vedic study. Abhyasanam, practice. Cha, also. Ev, certainly. Vakmayam, of the voice. Tapa, austerity. Uchyate, said to be. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting the Vedic literatures. Okay, someone can read the purport, please.
One should not speak in such a way as to agitate the minds of others. Of course, when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students, but such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students, if he will agitate their minds. This is penance as far as talking is concerned. Besides that, one should not talk nonsense. The process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from scriptural authority to back up what he is saying. At the same time, such talk should be very pleasurable to the ear. By such discussions, one may derive the highest benefit and elevate human society. There is a limitless stock of Vedic literature, and one should study this. This is called penance of speech.
Yeah, okay. So, What are the main principal elements of austerity of speech in this verse? Truthful, pleasing, beneficial, not agitating to others, and
Regularly reciting.
yeah. So out of these five, there are five elements. Okay, anudvegam, karam, anudvegam, satyam, priyam, hitam, or swadhyay. Now, out of these five, which is the most important? Okay, let's do one by one. Who says anudvegam? Our speech should not be agitating others. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most important. All five are important, but most important. Okay, who says satyam? Whatever you speak should be truthful. Most important, not to be compromised at any cost. Yes, right, Prabhu? Sarv Lakshan, Prabhu? Not to be compromised. Okay. Then Priya. It has to be pleasing. Most important, not to be compromised. Okay. And then Hitam, beneficial. Yes. And Swadhyaya. Okay. So, after these five, the most important is Hitam, beneficial. Okay. So we can discuss. Why? Why it is so? Yes. Antadeepu.
Actually, His Holiness Bhakti Prasamrit Maharaj had shared on this.
Yeah.
He was analyzing this versus this and all.
Yeah.
So in that, if something is not beneficial, then why to speak?
Yes.
Even if it is truth.
Even if it is truth. Very good.
Yeah, so
Even if it is very pleasing. Even if it is,
pleasing which is not beneficial is not good. So hitam is more foundational.
yeah. So that means whenever we are speaking, we should always keep it in mind. It should be beneficial for the others. So that is the bottom line. Whenever I am speaking, it should benefit others. Then it should be truthful also. It should be in pleasing manners also. It should not be agitating to others. It should be as per the scriptures. That's okay. That are the extra ornaments. But if it is everything, it is satyam, it is anudvega, it is priya, it is as per the scriptures, but it is not beneficial for the others, it's of no use. Okay. So that we should keep in mind. Sometimes it may happen that I am speaking for the benefit of others, it may not be truth. An example. Huh?
Prabhuji, like there is an example like when a cow like went into the house of a person and he told the lie that no, there is no cow. And like when a person is hunting for the cow.
Yeah. Yes, that is also given. Book distribution, Prabhuji. Selection, Prabhu. Sometimes, we have to twist the truth. Not always, but sometimes we have to twist the truth. He says, इसमें ये मिलेगा हाँ जरूर मिलेगा पढ़िए isn't it? So like once in Kumbh Mela, I think it was 2007 or so. So then in Kumbh Mela, Madhusudana Prabhu was there and we had that band. So one person came from a village. So he had some list of books, this book, that book, very strange books. So like he came to, ये सारी books चाहिए, very simple village. So Madhusudana, like a person comes to a chemist, ये दवाई चाहिए ना, नहीं, अच्छा ये मिल जाएगा ठीक. There was no, nothing was there. So he just gave him Krishna book. इसमें यहाँ सब है, ले जाओ सब. So that was because it is beneficial for him. It is beneficial for him. And then he's speaking the truth, नहीं ये कोई नहीं है हमारे पास, जाओ चलो. Nothing, it is not benefiting others. So we have to see whatever we are doing, we are missionaries. So our ultimate purpose of speaking, it should benefit others. Okay. At the same time, it should not agitate others. It should be truthful. It should be pleasing. But the main thing is beneficial. We may compromise, okay, it may sometimes our speech may not be pleasing to others. Sometimes we may get chastisement, and the chastisement is for our benefit. Or we have to chastise others. It is said, our Guru Maharaj used to say, if you're really a friend of a devotee, and if you see him something doing wrong, you should immediately correct him. If we have that kind of relationship, we should tell him, Prabhu, this is not good. In a manner, we can tell him that way. So it may not be pleasing, and sometimes we want to hear only the pleasing talk. The people are appreciating us. It's very pleasing. Antadipa was pleasing me. It was very pleasing. Aage kahin yaar, aage kahin. No. So, but it may not be beneficial for me to just hear my glories. Okay. So sometimes, one who criticizes us is our real friend. So we have to hear that. It is beneficial for me. Okay. So sometimes it may require for us, we have to correct someone. So we have to chastise someone. It is for his benefit. So whenever we are conversing, whenever you're, it's a formal or informal platform, the purpose of our speaking should be beneficial for others. And it's an austerity. If it is not beneficial for others, better not to speak. Keep silent. Hear more, gather more. When you're hearing more, we are getting more information, more knowledge. You're more equipped. And when you're speaking, it should be benefit for others. Then it should be not agitating, and it should be priya and everything. Right? Okay. Now, in the Vacho Vegam purport, in the first purport of Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada says how to control Vacho Vegam. Prabhupada gives examples also. What is the example Prabhupada gives if one is not able to control his urge to speak? Frog. So what happens when he speaks uselessly? Snake comes. He is inviting death. Okay. Similarly, Ayu Harti Ve Punsam Udyanassanchaniyaso Yasritikshina Uttam Shloka Vartaya. So this tongue should be used only for Krishna Katha. If we are not using this tongue for Krishna Katha, we are inviting death. And especially when we are joined Brahmachari Ashram, there's no point in doing useless talks. There's no point. But because, you see, normally the Brahmachari Ashram starts from the age of 5 years. Up to 5 to 25 or 20 years. And many of us have joined after 25 years. How many of you have joined after 25 years of age? Most of us. So what should we do? So in a way, it's not technically a Brahmachari Ashram. It's an adult education program, So, we, like Gaon, Prod Shiksha Karyakram. So now we have to undo what we have been, trained in materialistic world. We have to undo that, and it's very, very difficult. So we come to the Brahmachari Ashram with a baggage of our old sanskars, old habits, which are not so favorable for a Brahmachari Ashram. But for us, we have to, because we can't say, no, these are my old sanskaras. No, we have to continue like this. Once in our Brahmachari class, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj was taking the class. So one Brahmachari question answer, one Brahmachari raised his hand, yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, kahin bari purane sanskar bahut satate hai. So then we commit mistakes. So what was the answer of Maharaj? Maharaj said, no sanskars, aap log chuski lete ho. You understand what chuski? Chuski is a Punjabi word, Chuski means aap mujhe lete ho. So ये नहीं कि पुराने संस्कार हैं इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ. No, we relish those things. We relish talking nonsense things. Because we have taste for those things. So we cannot say, Prabhu, this sanskar hai. No. We relish those topics. We don't relish so much of Krishna Katha. But we relish Gramya Katha more. So then this is austerity for us now. This Gramya Katha, if we indulge bhala na khaive, what is that? Bhala na paive, bhala na, it starts with, what was the first one? Gramya Katha na kahive, Gramya Katha na shunive, bhala na khaive, bhala na paive. So Gramya Katha na kahive, Gramya Katha na shunive. So this is the instruction especially for renunciates. Especially, it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Raghunath Das Goswami. It was especially for the renunciates, for Vairagya Ashram, okay, for all of us. Now, this prajalpa is very, very dangerous. Atyahar prayasascha prajalpa niyamagra jan sangascha lolyamcha shanvid bhakti vinashyati. Bhakti cannot be destroyed, it is eternal. But all these 6 things, they cover up the bhakti for a very, very long time. Okay. So, prajalpa is the most dangerous. Right? Now, our Acharya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, has written an essay on this second and third verse. It's called Bhaktyalok. Okay. So, in Bhaktyalok, Bhaktivinoda Thakur analyzes prajalpa to help us identify where we get caught trapped in where we get trapped in this prajalpa, right? So can you show that? It's very interesting. Yeah, prajalpa. So he says, can you read the first paragraph?
Talking with one another is called jalpan or prajalpa. Nowadays in this world, godlessness is so prominent that conversing with others means godless talks.
Yeah. If you're just conversing with others, it has to be God. You won't find on the streets of Pune people discussing about Srimad Bhagavatam. Useless talks. Okay.
Therefore, it is not profitable for a practicing devotee to engage in jalpan. There can, however, be many kinds of jalpan in the cultivation of devotion service. They are all auspicious for the devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami has written in his Karpanya Panjika Stotra, Tathapi asmin kadachit vamadhisho nama jalpini avadya vrinda nistari nama bhaso prasiditam. Devotees recite the purport of this verse in the following verse. Tathapi e dina jane yadi nama uchcharane nama bhasha karila jivane sarva dosha nivarana duhu nama sanjalpana prasada prasida duijane. While chanting the holy name of the Lord, if a wretched person in his lifetime achieves namabhas or a glimpse of offenseless chanting, then all his faults are destroyed and their lordships become pleased with him.
Yeah. So tongue should be used. We may start our chanting from Namaparad, but by continuous chanting, we can overcome Namaparad and come to the stage of Namabhas. So although we may have a very, wretched past, we have a very fallen soul, but we should use our tongue only in chanting the holy name, and then we can achieve all perfection. Right? This is what he's trying to say. Next, kirtan.
Kirtan, offering prayers and reciting the scriptures are all jalpan. But when these are performed with a favorable mood and devoid of material desire, then they are all cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the conclusion is this. All prajalpas that are unfavorable to Krishna's service are adverse to devotional service. The practitioner should carefully give up a prajalpa. There is no fault in the activities of the Mahajanas. The Mahajanas have respectfully engaged in a prajalpa favorable to devotional service, and this is our only duty. Sometimes puffed up devotees advise that all types of prajalpa should be given up. But we are followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. Being followers of Rupa Goswami, we will always stick to the path shown by the sadhus who are following his instructions.
Yeah. So prajalpa, jalpan means talking, conversing. So devotees should engage in those kind of conversation which are favorable for Krishna consciousness. So that is also prajalpa, which we are talking, which are favorable. So in this verse, the prajalpa means those kinds of conversations which are unfavorable for devotional service. Right? Okay. Go ahead, Prabhu.
In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, as quoted from the Skanda Purana, it is said, Samargya Shreyasam Hetu Pantha Santapa Varjita Anvat Shramam Purve Yena Santa Pratisthire. One should strictly follow the easy path that the previous Mahajanas have accepted. That path bestows great auspiciousness and is devoid of all misery. Our Mahajanas path is that which was shown by Srila Vyasdev, Shukdev Goswami, Prahlad Maharaj, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. We are not to leave aside that path to follow the instructions of new puffed up devotees. All the Mahajanas have respected that prajalpa which nourishes devotion to Hari. We will discuss this in the appropriate place. Godless prajalpas are impediments to devotional service. They are of many types: useless talks, arguments, gossips, debates, fault finding in others, speaking falsehoods, blaspheming devotees, and worldly talk are called prajalpa.
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes we may feel, I don't do prajalpa. Okay. So let us analyze. No. Useless talks, arguments, gossip, debates, fault finding in others, speaking falsehoods, blaspheming devotees, and worldly talks are all called prajalpa. So 8 types of prajalpa Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving. Okay. So what are the useless talks? Useless talks he is analyzing in this essay. Useless talks means talking with the materialistic people about useless things. You know, newspapers, novels, reading those. And this is social media. Okay. Small, unnecessary. We have to sometimes use smartphones for our services. And there's so much of information. And a devotee, for a brahmachari, the most dangerous thing is to have a spare time. Most dangerous thing. And on the top of it, if he has a smartphone also with him, he has idle time and a smartphone. Very dangerous combination. Very, very dangerous combination. So what he'll engage in? Useless talks. He'll gather information from all over the world, which is very useless, and it is very, very detrimental for devotional service. How can we expect such a person to chant attentively? We won't be able to chant it. The mind gets so much agitation. Okay? You see, chanting is not a process of just 2 hours, sit straight and just chant. No. Sanatana Goswami in his Hare Bhakti Vilas gives the 6 characteristics of a good japa. Mana Samaran, Maunam, Shocham, Mantrartha Chintanam, Avyagratam, Nirvedam, Japa Sampati Hetavam. So Mana Samaran means controlling the mind. And then is Maunam. There is a Maunam. What kind of talks I engage in? Shaucham. What is in my lifestyle? How much pure it is? So if I am engaging in useless talks, it is not Maunam. So that will disturb my japa. I won't be able to focus my mind. Okay? More I am doing useless talks, there will be vikshep. Mind will be agitated. It will keep on wandering in japa. So useless talks we should avoid. Useless literatures, useless sites, unnecessarily, social media. It's very, very, very tempting. Just see this reel, just see this, what is happening in politics, what is happening, just see this. And we may get diverted. Okay? This is useless talks. Then the second is arguments. Any experience of arguments in Brahmacharya ashram? No. What kind of arguments normally we have?
Sometimes in voice, like in our youth center, some devotees say that allopathy is better. Somebody say no, allopathy is worse, Ayurveda is better. And they will go on arguing for hours and it has no conclusion.
No conclusion, yes. Allopathy, homeopathy, naturopathy, Ayurvedic. So we have arguments and arguments with no conclusion, yes. Any other arguments we have? Huh? Prashadam. Prashadam is useful. But still, unnecessarily extending it too much. Yeah. So we should be very, very careful with such kind of arguments. Or unnecessarily, we may take a philosophical point and blow it out of proportion. Like sometime in our Brahmacharya ashram we were discussing Abhinatva Nama Namino. The holy name is non-different from Krishna. Okay. Non-different means it is identical or it is same. Okay. Then more, identical means this, same this. If holy name is same as Krishna, so can I perform Ras dance with holy name? Okay, so it's very confusing. The arguments are going on and on and on. There's no conclusion. And more confusion. It complicates the mind. Okay. So such kind of arguments we may waste hours and hours. Okay, in the name of Krishna Katha. Then there is gossip. Gossip means talking about others in their absence. Sometimes we just like to talk about others in their absence. It's not good. We are analyzing their behavior, we are analyzing their faults. He should not have done like this, should have done like this. No, we have no right to discuss all these things. So this is also kind of a pajalpa. Okay. Then there are debates. Vaad Vivad. Then they are fault finding in others. Unnecessary of finding faults in others, discussing the faults. Okay. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, 3 circumstances are there. In 3 situations, we can do criticisms. What are those 3 situations where we are allowed to do criticism?
In an authority state.
Okay. Yeah. Presenting as an example for others, yes. He said 3 situations are there where we are allowed to criticize. So one is when it is beneficial for that person. If we are criticizing, it's beneficial for that person. Okay. Any example? Without chastising Dhritarashtra. Very good. No. And second situation is when we can criticize others, it is beneficial for me. It benefits me by criticizing others. An example? Criticizing Mayavad, yes. Mayavad philosophy can criticize. Criticizing materialistic people. Like Sud Goswami says, Shotrave Rajan, what is that? Shotrave Adi Rajan, Nam Santi Sastrasha, Apashyatam Matutatam, Graheshu Grahamedhinam. For a Grahamedhi, there are thousands of topics to hear. So in a way criticizing. He's criticizing the other shlokas also. So because by criticizing them, I'm learning, okay, I should not be like that. Okay, it benefits me. And third situation is, it is beneficial for all. Okay, Jagai Mata is being criticized. It's beneficial for all. Okay. Even Narada Muni is criticizing Vyasdev. Jugupsitam. It is beneficial for everyone. Beneficial for him also, Vyasdev also. So there are 3 situations we can find faults with others. We can criticize. Otherwise, fault finding is very, very it's also prajalpa. Okay. And the 6th one is, or the 7th is, speaking falsehood. Not speaking truth. Or distorting the facts. Sometimes we may say, I'm not speaking lie, but I am not speaking truth also. I'll present the things in such a manner that I am safe. Ghuma ke baat karna. Ye bhi nahi, ye bhi nahi. Half truth. So that is also not good. In our talks, we should be very, very transparent. Okay. So in the spiritual life, to remain safe, we should always be very transparent. Straightforward and transparent. That is very, very, we will always remain secure. But sometimes out of fear or out of insecurity, we may distort the things. Okay. So it's not completely false, but not representing the things as they are. Okay. That is also prajalpa. Okay. Then blaspheming devotees, this we have discussed. Now blaspheming devotees, normally when we blaspheme devotees, we don't fix time. Okay, Prabhu, it's a time for blaspheming devotees. No. When do we blaspheme devotees? Just in casual talks. Just in a very light casual talks, we are conversing and just making fun of others or just criticizing others. So we are not even careful. We don't even notice that we are blaspheming devotees. So one should be very, very careful. It's not that we have a sadhana of blaspheming devotees. We are very particular. No. It just happens by chance, or because we are not careful. We are not conscious about it. Right? And the worldly talk. Worldly talk, we're taking too much interest in politics, sports. Sometimes it is seen, unfortunately, after spending many years in Brahmachari ashram, because of some problems or some offenses, the old sanskaras, like they, lower nature gets ignited. We may start developing interest in seeing movies, seeing cricket matches, getting too much interest in developing interest in other worldly news. It happens because we need some rasa. If you're not practicing Krishna consciousness properly, from where we'll get this mellow from rasa? So we'll find all this rasa in worldly things, so worldly talks. So there are different 8 kinds of prachalpas we should strictly avoid. Okay. And in Brahmachari ashram also, like normally a householder, if he comes back from his office, what he expects from his wife? Sweet talk. So even if we are conversing with each other, let's try to be, have a pleasing talk with each other. That kind of culture we should have. Okay, because everyone, it's like one of the quality of a pure devotee is mridu. He's very soft. Okay, and we see all our acharyas, they're very soft spoken. So like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, even if he has to give some judgment, very strict judgment, he'll speak in such a soft manner the person won't mind. So we may have to speak some things, but we should try to speak in a very soft manner. And the culture in the whole Brahmachari ashram, I know you have very good culture. But if we are very conscious of our quality of speech, our culture of speech, so it may benefit everyone. And we may avoid an offensive environment. And if you are not very conscious about it, if you're not very conscious how I'm speaking, what kind of words I'm using, it may really harm. It may really hurt others. Okay? It is said, if we injure someone, if we hurt someone on a bodily level, the wound will go away after some time. But the arrows of our speech, it pierces our heart. And that wound stays in our heart for years and years, maybe lives together. So one should be very, very careful. Sometimes in joking manner, lightly also, we may make fun of others. So that person in front of us may not mind. But when he goes, when he's alone, he's very, very hurt. Why they are using such kind of words for me? Why they are hurting me? Okay? So that's how we commit offenses. So we should be very, very careful while dealing with devotees, what kind of words we use, what kind of language we use, what is our body language. Like when Sugriv sent Hanuman to meet Ram and Krishna Lakshman for the first time, and Hanumanji dressed himself as a sannyasi, and then he approached Lord Ram and Lakshman, and he had a conversation with them. So observing his conversation, Lord Ram was very, very appreciative of him. He speaks very nicely. He has very nice intelligence. The words he used, the body language he has, the modulation in his voice was perfect. Okay. So he impressed Lord Ram with his speech. So that's how we should train our speech. It's all kind of austerity of speech. It's a divya tapasya, because such austerity will help us to progress in our spiritual life. It is our voluntary acceptance of difficulty. It's not so easy to control our tongue, because the veg is very strong. But we try to practice, then it will help us. So how we can practice? Satatam kirtayanto maham yatantascha dridvita. Always we have to glorify, because the Kali Yuga dharma is glorification. So Satatam kirtayanto maham, glorify devotees, glorify the process, glorify Krishna Katha. Satatam kirtayanto maham yatantascha. For this we have to make efforts. It won't happen automatically. Yatantascha dridvita, with determination. It's not so easy. We have to determine. Because kirtan is a yoga dharma, so we have to take shelter of the yoga dharma. So that our kirtan means speaking. So what we speak, how we speak, what is very, very important. And why we speak, for the benefit of others. How we speak, should not be agitating to others. What we speak, it should be truth as per the scriptures. And in our normal day-to-day conversation also, although when you are conversing with each other, we need not be formal, because it's like our home. So there should be intimacy in our speaking also, in our talks also. But in the name of intimacy, we should not become too familiar in our talks. Sometimes, devotees do not call each other by their initiated names also. Short names, Rukmini Krishna, RKD, like RKP. Not like that, We should call the name complete, because it's an offense to the Guru if you're not using the name, full name. Okay? And then we should use the full name. So it is a Gaurvena Vishrambhena. Our relationships, our talking with each other should be intimate also. Vishrambhena, Gaurvena, with respect also. We should have respect, awe and reverence, as well as intimacy also. If we have only Gaurvena, only in awe and reverence we are dealing with each other, talking with each other, we won't feel, kind of a relationship. For a relationship amongst the devotees, there should be intimacy. So Vishrambin should be there. But sometimes we become so intimate, we become casual. Familiarity breeds contempt. That will lead to offenses. So Gauravan also. So that way we should always observe austerity of speech. Right? These are few things I wanted to share with all of you. Any comments? Any corrections? Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for elaborately speaking about speaking. So, thank you very much, Prabhu. So, my question is, sometimes we may speak beneficially to a person, but if that person is not understanding that we are speaking for his benefit, so he may misunderstand us.
Yeah.
So, in that case, how to deal with
Yeah.
that devotee?
I think Prabhupada is writing somewhere that we may see some junior devotee doing something wrong and we are correcting him, advising him, telling him to do the right things, and he may mind it. Why are you correcting me? Okay. So then we should see what kind of relationship we have. If we have trust and relationship, then we can speak. If he's not taking that manner, it's better not to speak. It will hurt others. He will not understand. He will misunderstand us. So, but if we have concerns about that devotee, so we should express our concerns to that, respective devotee, other devotee who can pass on that, who can address to our concerns. Ultimately, it should benefit him, but he is not taking in a proper spirit. He may commit more offenses. So that trust and relationship we have to see. Right? Anyone else? Yes.
Prabhuji, here we are mentioning that our speech should be beneficial to others and it's not be agitating to others also. Sometimes when we are giving class or sometimes the person may get agitated by hearing something, but it is beneficial for the other person. So how should we, it should be taken care? Because sometimes something a person is not following or we are not following, it may create some agitation. So that agitation is ultimately good because then the person gets rectified. So then the principle of beneficial, because it is beneficial, so it may be agitating for some.
Yeah. Sometimes, when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj used to send his brahmacharis for preaching, and then used to get the report in the pandal, लोगों ने कुर्सियां उठा के फेंक दी, And he said, good, successful preaching. He used to say like that because you have agitated them. So he used to say, you should speak like in a very revolutionary spirit. They should become a revolution in their heart. And people should become, imagine, what is this? We never heard like this. So they are throwing stones and everything. Yeah, now but we have to take it in the right spirit. It's not that new person comes and says, Ahar, Nidra, Bhai, Maithun, Samane, Pashu bhi, Dharmen Hina, Pashu bhi Narana, stop demigod worship, stop all this. These are the truths. But we have to speak in such a manner that it is palatable to them. Our aim of preaching is not to prove them you are wrong, I am right. Our aim of preaching should be to bring them under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. Yen ken prakaren. So we see it requires experience. Sometimes due to immaturity, we are speaking the truth and we have a good intention also. But we may drive the person away from Krishna consciousness. So we have to be very sensitive to their sentiments. If we see they is not able to take it as of now complete truth, so we have to give that truth in a very palatable. We have to package it, and gradually we build up relationship, and then we tell him. It's, this we learn by experience. Where to be aggressive and where to be, a bit soft.
But on the other hand, also it is experience. Sometimes if things are spoken little boldly, person initially feels agitated, but then he makes a very means the progress. How to balance it? Because I also think that sometimes it is spoken little aggressively, means strongly, and he takes up later. He takes it up.
Takes up later. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes it happens.
yeah.
So it may happen in one class. Someone may appreciate Prabhuji, बहुत अच्छा बोला आपने, हिला दिया आपने. And someone say, no, you're too harsh. So in a general class, it happens. But what we see from experienced devotees, they go for very softer approach. It is all-inclusive approach. And in a smaller circle, we can be more aggressive. And a bigger general platform, safer to be on a softer thing. Not to compromise on the truth, but in our presentation, we can be soft. Because that may create confusion in many people, Like I used to have a friend when I was coming new in Krishna consciousness. So I used to bring him for a Sunday feast program every day. So I don't know what was his bad luck or whenever he used to come, the speaker used to address to this topic. When the Krishna becomes very merciful, he takes away everything from you. So he used to get scared. He used to run away. Again, I used to follow him. Prabhu, no, please come, please come. It's not like that. And after he used to come, and again the new speaker is coming. He also speaking on the same subject. So when we speak such things, people get scared. People they have so much of deep attachments. They don't want to come to Krishna consciousness. They will snatch away everything. So we have to softly, we have to just go like a needle and come out like a flow. That way.
And also, Prabhuji, just this aspect you are mentioning, speaking half truth or indirectly.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it is spoken, but it is beneficial actually. On the other hand, we are speaking in indirect way. But if it is beneficial for the person.
Yeah, then we can do that. Yeah. But sometimes to hide our inefficiency or our imperfections or our faults, we distort the things. That's not good. That's prajalpa.
Can you please elaborate a little more about it?
Okay, like you are in a team and you have been given some service, but sometimes that service is not done properly. And everyone is at fault. But to save ourselves, we present the facts in such a manner that I was not at fault. He couldn't do the things properly. So we won't present the facts in a proper manner. Normally we do that.
Yes.
That. Okay. Anyone else?
Prabhuji, I have two questions. One is that I have habit of getting into many of these like useless talks, argument, gossip, debates. So I know that this is wrong. And when I hear something like this, then for today I will be very enthusiastic to follow. That till evening or till I go to bed, I'll keep like mourn. But tomorrow again the enthusiasm goes down. And on the name of developing intimate relation with devotees, I have to reduce my awe and reverence. And then it becomes material relation, then fault finding. Then it looks like this is intimate relation. But on that intimacy, there is no awe and reverence, and I develop material outlook, and there is no satisfaction in the relationship. Ultimately, despite being surrounded with a lot of devotees. So, can you please give some practical this so that I can?
Yeah, thank you for being very honest. Yeah. So very nice. So you very nicely analyze your situations. We need friendship. We need emotional bondage. So we need some close heart-to-heart relationships. And because till now we had this practice of developing heart-to-heart relationship with all those kind of talks, in outside world we used to have friends like this. And after coming to Krishna consciousness, we are not having that kind of thing. So what we have to work upon is, more of Shravanam, Paraspara Anukathanam, Pavanam Bhagavad Yasha, Mithorati Mithotushti, Nivritam Mithatmana, Matchitta, Madgat Prana, Bodhyanta Parasparam. So if we read more, hear more, then we like to share that with other devotees. Try it.
When I start sharing, the other devotee starts feeling bored after some time.
Okay. So start with small package. Small time, no problem. When you feel that other person getting, stop it, no problem. Gradually the capacity will increase. His and ours also, the capacity will increase. But it's not that we compromise. we should not compromise. It's a kind of austerity. It's an austerity. So in the beginning, we'll be uncomfortable. It's an austerity. Nija Kashi, we are not comfortable. It's an austerity. But we know it's good for our spiritual life. We keep. Similarly, yes, it's an austerity. Man kara, baat karo. Nahin, but we have to keep silent. Okay. So best thing is to keep ourselves busy. Okay. And we have so much of varieties of services in Krishna consciousness. So initially I may not get absorption, that satisfaction. But gradually it will happen. But in the name of satisfaction, I should not compromise. Okay? They say there are 4 levels. First is unconscious and incompetent. Then the next, what is that? Then consciously incompetent. Then consciously competent. Then unconsciously competent. Okay? So now you're coming to the stage of consciously incompetent. You're getting, yes, you're conscious of your defects. Now you have to come to the next stage, consciously competent. So it will take time. But more discussions, and if we are discussing such topics on the associate of all the brahmacharis, so it is beneficial for everyone. So let's not engage in useless talks. In the beginning it will be difficult, agreed.
And Prabhuji, one more fear comes in heart that I've invested so much in my relationships with some devotees based on these 6 things. Yeah. Now if I start following, I fear losing those relations from today onwards. And I may feel lonely after some time because I am only the pure devotee in ashram. So how to balance this so that I remain united with devotees with my high standards?
Yeah. No, I think it's beneficial for everyone. So we all should, because if we have this in our ashram, if we have this kind of, it's with everyone. It's not in here. In Delhi we also go in all the temple brahmacharis. We have this challenge, which you are saying. We all have this challenge. This is our family. These are our brothers, sisters, everyone. Everyone is here only. So we have to have that kind of relationship. Only then we can survive whole life in brahmachari ashram. We have to have that family feeling, So, but at the same time, we are missionaries also. So in the name of that relationship, we should not compromise on our Krishna consciousness. That relationship won't be lasting and won't be really satisfying. This is just temporary satisfaction. Okay? So that's why we have these classes where we can all develop a common vision, a common purpose. It's beneficial for all of us. So your friends are also here. So they are also listening. So you are also listening. So better to get, after this, have a small list goshti with your friends and say, Prabhu, let's do something upon this, Let's take some resolution. Every day 15 minutes we'll do this, we will avoid this, we'll alarm each other when we are deviating. So better to act upon those lines. Isn't it? Yeah.
And Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, some devotees are very talkative. Like they'll begin with Guru and Krishna, and then they will go in some other topic. Bangalore mein kya ho raha hai, yahan kya ho raha hai, wahan kya ho raha hai. And then they will keep on speaking for hours and hours. So then how to escape?
Especially they come in the night hours.
Yes, in night time especially, right.
So, we have all these challenges. So we'll say, Prabhuji, bas, bahut ho gaya. Okay. So till Guru Krishna we are discussing, it's okay. Otherwise, I'm feeling very sleepy. Let me go. I have some urgent work to seva to do. So we'll take it. Otherwise, we are hearing, speaking, same thing. We are wasting time. And such kind of talks breeds envy. It doesn't make our relationship sweet. It will bring envy. Sure, because when Krishna is not there, nothing can be auspicious. If Krishna is not there in the center, in any of our talks, in any of our activity, how it can be auspicious? It cannot be auspicious. That's why the whole world is suffering. Why they are suffering? Because they are trying to get happiness without Krishna. So we are also in this ashram also, we are trying to get happiness without Krishna in center. There won't be any happiness. So we should know this principle, and people have their old bad habits, so we have to somehow tactfully deal with them and get away.
And Prabhuji, here it is mentioned speaking falsehoods, like speaking lies.
Yeah.
Like sometimes practitioners, they have chronic habit of speaking lies in everything.
Yeah.
So then we come to know that he's speaking lie, we lose faith in him, and then our relationship gets spoiled. Then how to rectify such mentality?
Of mentality of speaking lies or judging others?
Speaking lies. Like we understand that he's speaking lies or trying to do some golmaal or something.
Yeah.
We understand from his facial expressions sometimes or his.
Yeah, we understand that. So, it's like my brother. He has a habit of speaking lies. So how will you deal with your brother who speaks lies?
We try to correct him. Like
Correct him or tolerate him or adjust with him. We know that how much truth he is speaking. So I won't go on his face value. I'll check up the things. I'll recheck the things. Okay? But he's a devotee. He's a practicing devotee. No problem. So he'll get, like today morning I was discussing. Once a devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can a devotee be an asur? Can a devotee be a demon? Prabhupada said no. Then he again asked, can a devotee have demonic mentality? Prabhupada says yes. So we have lot of anarthas, and one of anarthas is speaking lies, but we are practicing. So then again devotee asked, then what will happen to that person with demonic mentality? Prabhupada says if he is practicing Krishna consciousness, it will go away. Then again asked, but Prabhupada, still we are observing. And Prabhupada said, it's like you switch off the fan is still running. Then Prabhupada said, but the problem is, even if you switch off the fan and the fan is running at the same speed, then there's a problem. That means he's not practicing Krishna consciousness properly. Okay? So someone may be observing us also. And he is thinking, yeah, this person has these faults, but he's tolerating us. We have to tolerate and wait for the time.
thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. What is the time, Prabhu? At what time? It's 4:30.
Prabhuji, I have one bad habit. Means I wanted to check if it's proper. Like if some devotee asks me something, and I know that if I tell the full truth, he will be hurt or he will start digging into the matter. So what I do, I tell partial things, which is truth, and I tell it in such a way so that he does not probe further into the matter, to avoid myself telling lies or making him go around the topic. So is it proper or does it come in speaking falsehood?
No. It's beneficial for him, it's okay. But it's beneficial for him, otherwise he'll get too much absorbed in that, go too much in details and waste his time and energy and get confused. So, okay. Sometimes they are newcomers in Krishna consciousness. We may not tell them all the details.
So I'm purposefully hiding the truth by using my intelligence to tell the partial things.
Yeah, but your intention is for his benefit.
Or to save my time. Or to save my time.
Yes, maybe if you know by experience, if I engage in those discussions, it's of no use, it won't lead to anything. It means okay. Yes, online question.
In spiritual circles, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada writes here, in devotional circles like Srimad Bhagavatam class, if someone wonderfully practicing devotee speaks something which is non-shastric, which is agitating to me, as per my understanding and study of Shastra, how to respond, what is the responsibility of audience?
If a speaker is speaking things which are not as per the scriptures, and agitating to this devotee, how should he respond? Okay, so there are certain etiquettes. If a person is sitting on the Vyasasana, we have to give him respect. So if you feel that he has spoken something which is not as per the scriptures and which is agitating to you specifically, so you may just wait till the class ends and go to him personally. But if he speaks such things which may create confusion at a large scale for the whole mission, then you can very gently, you can raise your question, raise your concern that you have heard like this, as per the scripture it is like this, so we are not finding it in line, but not in a way which is insulting to him. Okay, that you can express. Responsibility. Yeah, some audience may not even identify his speaking as per the scriptures or not, but if you have identified it, and you are very much agitated. So it depends what kind of truth is this. It's not some minor details are there. Okay, sometimes the speaker may miss on certain details, but he's compromising on the basic principles, which may not be good for the audience. Then we may raise that concern. But it should not be in a very insulting manner. It should be in a very proper manner. Or if you are too junior and that person sitting on the Vyasana is very senior to you, then general etiquette will go to your senior and address it, and he will address it. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, yeah, like Sudhamanath Prabhu said that we feel a sense of belonging when we do gossip, gossip, and especially when it comes to this common enemy friendship. Like, yeah. So, like, one person we don't like, so about him we speak and we become friends. So that is on a very fragile platform. Sometimes telling about management 10 times. So these people become friends because management is, or any other friend. Friend, अरे वो ऐसा है ऐसा ऐसा बोल के वो friends, they become friends. So surely this is one side, what Sudhavanath Prabhu said. I just want to tell about the flip side, which we generally neglect. I mean, I want to hear your comment. So it's very sensitive, but at the same time, I thought you are quite mature and you have spent so many years, so you may comment on that. So we don't speak about the advantages of gossip sometimes in terms of like, suppose some devotees are serving, one devotee is serving, so the devotee understands that the authority may be little prone to anger or he has some issues. So what happens is when other person replaces the junior who is serving under the authority, they don't transfer the knowledge that, okay, what is this person, how is his nature. So what, in that sense, when sometimes equals just discuss among each other, they understand how to deal with. Otherwise, many times the problem happens is that the other devotee expects, okay, a kind of romantic, situation, but suddenly what happens is he gets a boomerang down. His authority is so senior and how he can be angry, etc. in that sense. So when equals sometimes gossip, or mera bhi aisa hua, mera bhi maine aisa deal kiya, it may appear little gossip, but what happens is many times devotees feel that ye aparadh hai. It may not be aparadh, it's just, we are not blaspheming that person, but we are just telling that this is the situation. So sometimes that is considered to be like prajalpa, etc. But that is most neglected among devotees. So sometimes devotees don't understand and suddenly they get a boomerang. So I just want to understand, I would just want to hear from you what are your comments on this point.
Yeah, good, very good. This is going in details, Good. The first part you say, the friendship on the platform of common enemy. So that's very dangerous, just like Karna and Duryodhana, Question is, two kind of scenarios. Sometimes there is a friendship amongst brahmacharis because they have a common enemy. That enemy can be authority or some other person. Sorry to speak, So that they discuss they glorify his faults. Paraspara anukathanam, But it's not pavanam. It's not pavanam, okay. So it contaminates us. It will make us more frustrated. We'll be more frustrated with the system, and we'll be committing more offenses, we'll be spoiling our chanting. If we have this kind of friendship, it is harming each other. Like Karna and Duryodhana, they harmed each other. Okay, so we should never get involved in such kind. Although it is very lucrative, very tempting. And when we find someone who is also annoyed with that person, वो भी उनसे दुखी है, मैं भी उनसे दुखी, चलो गले मिल गए दोनों ने, बड़े अच्छे दोस्त मिल गए, we are crying on each other's shoulder. No. That's very, 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 very dangerous situation. I have seen many people slipping in their ashram and later on committing big offenses, breaking regulatory principles because of this offense only. In the beginning, very good friends, and gradually slipping down. Sadhana going down, everything going down. This is very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And this happens in the ashrams. Okay. So we have to be very, very careful of this. This is a disease actually. So this is one part. The second part is, we know that we may serve somewhere as an authority, and I'm not a perfect devotee. I'm a conditioned soul. I have my own faults, but I am serving as some authority. So my subordinate is getting disturbed because of my nature. And now he's disturbed. He was expecting that authority should be very ideal like this. That's what he says, romantic. You know, he's expecting some ideal authority, but he's getting all to different things. And now he's very confused. And the person who went away, who transferred him, we gave him this service, he did not brief him. कि प्रभु उनसे ऐसे deal करना. You know, he didn't brief him properly. So he's confused. So when he sees a confused junior, so he says, यहाँ पे हो, मैं बताता हूँ, ये बंदा है ही ऐसा, इसको ऐसा है, ऐसा है. 3-4 more people will come. He did this with me also. The best way to deal with this, सुना दो इसको, you know. ऐसा कर दो, ऐसा कर दो. That he says, that is very helpful for the devotee. His Krishna consciousness is saved. You know, that's what he's saying. So this is not prajalpa. So
No, not like, you have to sunade and all.
maybe it's something.
There can be a very decent way of
Decent way
dealing.
also. When he's telling, just tolerate it, and after some time you go to some any solution.
Yeah, or you can change your service or whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes in the name of aparad, they don't say, Hare, and they philosophize. You have to go internal, something like that. So that may
that kind of talk is not prajalpa. Certainly it's not prajalpa. It depends on your intention. You know, we are talking and we are conversing to benefit him. Okay, that will come in the category of guhyam akhyati. But it should not be made public. He does guhyam akhyati, but we make it public. But usko bhi problem aa gayi. वो है ऐसा. We should not publicize it. If we see some devotee suffering because of this, and we know the cause of his suffering, we may give him advice. Okay, otherwise he will get too much disturbed in his service. His sadhana will suffer, his relationships will suffer, he will get confused about the ashram also. So that way we are trying to help him out of the situation. We are trying to train him how to deal with such situation. So that is not prajalpa. But if we hear his concerns and publicize it, with a view, because we may also have some kind of ill feelings for that authority, then we have to be careful. So it's a very thin line. Sometimes it's a mixture. We are trying to help the devotee also, and we have some ill feelings for that authority also. So we have to be very careful about that. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anand Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.